Good morning and welcome back to a brand new episode of NH Unscripted. I am, as always, your happy to be out of bed host, Ray Dudley. I'm the one with the neighborhood jacket on, the bell-bottom pants, and the platform shoes. Your job, kick back on the waterbeds, fire up those lava lamps, light a little incense. We are going deep today, and you're going to want to pay attention. Pay attention. Theater is should be anyway, an evolving, almost living creature in and of itself. There are many people who like to look at what's happening in theater and say, I think I can do that a little bit better. Good morning, Sean Sullivan.
Good morning. At least that's what it says in my script. Oh, was I not supposed to say that?
We're unscripted. Tell us, you are with a brand new company called American Playlist Theater.
Mm-hmm.
Why? What is it? How long's it been around? Give me the deets here.
Sure. So, these are tough questions, actually, because when you ask about, I think John Popper put it best of Blues Traveler. He says it takes 30 years to become an overnight success.
Isn't that the truth?
And I'm one of those people. I'm not gifted with, boom, I've got an idea and let's run with it. It literally is bump my head against the wall, fail, come back at it, fail, come back at it, fail, come back at it. And that's what American Playlist Theater is. It's basically my life's work culminating in finally an idea that I think is going to work. And the idea is based upon what's going on in the world today. Like, for instance, if you go to a live theater, you'll notice that the audience skews towards a certain demographic.
Yes.
It skews older. It skews higher income. It skews into folks of higher education. And it is in that niche demographic. So now notice, by the way, I'm a theater guy talking like a marketing and business guy.
It's all right. I know why.
That's my background.
I get it.
So the funny part is I look at creativity as there are problems. How do you solve the problems? And one of the things that I personally think is that theater, if kids don't get into it, is just going to go away.
And that would be a problem.
I mean, we're talking and don't even say that it doesn't happen. Just, newspaper, look at how that has diminished over the last, 20, 25 years. So I don't want theater to go that way. I grew up with theater. Mm-hmm. I like theater. I like performing for the audiences. And I think the audiences like watching the performances. So with that, I'm trying to create theater that is of interest to a crowd who could care less, that they would want to watch something on their phone for a few minutes, watch a video, whether it be YouTube or Facebook or whatnot, watch a little snippet of some theater thing, and then once they start to gain interest in it on that level, then maybe it takes them to the next level where they say, you know what, I've watched a couple of these videos and I like it. Maybe I should go see it live. And then they go see the performance live. Thus, American Playlist Theater. Mm. So it's theater. It's radio theater.
Yeah.
And when you go to the theater and watch this, you're watching a play in full from beginning to end. But later on, that's going to show up in digital form, in segments, and you get to enjoy it any way you want. You can watch it as that play the way you saw it that night. You can watch it as short segments, like for instance, if you're at an airport and you only got a few minutes before they're calling you to come up with your luggage and stuff it in the overhead compartment. And also there's the opportunity to turn them into musicals by creating the playlists and inserting the music from the playlists that exist on Spotify and so forth, and then create completely different theater experiences from the same performance.
Okay, this is a lot to get your head around. You can tell you've thought a lot about this. How is this just different from, say, streaming a play?
Sure. Have you ever seen someone stream a play?
Yes, and it's ugly.
Oh my gosh, it's awful. Oh, it is horrible.
I can't stand it. Can't stand the sound. Can't stand the lights.
And there it is. That's the problem. Like I said, I solve problems. So, and this is the way I always picture it. Somebody's mom is really proud of their, young one up there on the stage, and they're sitting in the 15th row, and they've got their phone up, blocking somebody's view, and there they are recording the whole thing.
That would never happen.
No. And, as this recording takes place, and they probably put it up on YouTube or what have you, you have literally 3 hours of an unedited, terrible performance. And I'm not saying terrible as in the performance was terrible. I'm saying that technically speaking, when we're talking about acoustics and sound and can you make out the words, and also, from the 15th row, are these people lighted? Are you getting different camera angles? The answer is definitely no.
Definitely.
So if we can put together a film crew and tape it from different angles. This is also why I'm doing it as a radio theater, because like us right here in the studio right now, we have these wonderful things called microphones right in front of us.
Yep.
Our voices are coming through nice and clear. You can hear us perfectly. And that's what carries through, is that sound that is pristine.
Yeah.
And when you go to the website for American Playlist Theater, you can hear some of the samples of things that, as a different form of the troupe in the past that we've done. We used to be New Hampshire Radio Theater at one point in time. And these are the archives of New Hampshire Radio Theater that we have on the website presently, because American Playlist Theater hasn't done its actual first performance as of yet.
Mm-hmm.
But you can see what we're trying to do. You can see the audio quality. You can see what it's going to look like when we have a video behind that. And you can see what the performances and the little snippets are going to look like for entertainment purposes. And they're far better than your mom's recording.
That I believe. So let's back up just a little bit. Give us some of your background. You've got quite an extensive background, and it's dang impressive, by the way. But you're right. And I'm just going to tag on here to you. You have a lot of, I fell down, I get up. I fell down, I get up. I fell down, I got punched in the face. I still got up. So tell me a little bit about all that, because I think, I think there's a lot of people who enter the entertainment field and get disappointed real quickly. They don't get cast. They don't look right, sound right. They don't know what to do. But so they just kind of fall by the wayside. But you've exuded a certain courage here, a certain determination that I think would probably do folks a lot better if they knew that there's someone else who doesn't mind getting punched in the face and getting back up. So,
can I just thank you for that? By the way, that was incredible. I don't know if I describe myself that way, but
take it, baby, take it.
That's fantastic. So I started off as a youngster.
Mm-hmm.
My parents, my mother specifically, and yes, my mother was the Ethel Merman type from Gypsy. Just, you're gonna do it and we're gonna be a star. No, okay, calm down. And that was the thing, is I did it because Mom said this is the thing to do, and she told me I liked it. So I believed it. You're a kid. You trust your parents, that sort of thing. And as a kid, I did pretty good. I mean, I got cast in plays. I was always the lead. I was doing summer stock. I'm not even kidding. I made more money at 8 years old than it took me to when I was 40 years old to catch up to.
Oh my God.
So
I did not know that.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where I was doing really well, and I was doing summer stock theater, and I was traveling around. I get this crazy story that I'll tell you during a commercial break about Gloria Gaynor and her bus breaking down. But there's all these wonderful stories, but then the brakes got put on. And a couple of things happened. One is I turned into a teenager, so I wasn't the cute little kid anymore. So I wasn't easy to cast in things. So I ended up having these wonderful opportunities because of where I built my career to that point. So I had a chance to be on Broadway. I got cast as an understudy for The Little Prince, which would have been behind Christian Slater if the show had not shut down the week before I was supposed to move to New York.
Dang.
I ended up on the cutting room floor of a movie with Ricky Schroeder. Yeah. But there's a lot more.
Hang on a second. I'm going to bring those back up in a second. My friends, you are listening to NH Unscripted, 1450 AM, 103.9 FM in Concord on your Sony Walkmans, 101.9 FM off those beautiful souls in Manchester. We are coming to you from the YMCA-like digs of the WKXL studios in Concord. And yeah, I can smell the pool chlorine all the way over here. No towel snapping allowed. Sean Sullivan is in the house from American Playlist Theater. We are just getting started. We'll be right back. Welcome back to NH Unscripted. 1450 AM, 103.9 FM on your transistor radios. NHTalkRadio.com is our URL. Sean Sullivan is in the house from a brand new group called American Playlist Theater. Sean, you started talking about your background. You almost had a chance to be on Broadway with Kristen Slater. Who else did you mention?
Ricky Schroeder. Yeah, the movie Little Lord of Fauntleroy. I missed out on Square Pegs with Sarah Jessica Parker.
Dang, man.
The funny part is, I still remember my audition line for that, too.
Oh, God.
You ready for,
yes,
you ready for this?
Yes, please.
Ready for this? This is what I had to read. So, if I have a green ball in one hand and a green ball in the other hand, what do I have?
Two green balls.
Kermit the Frog's undivided attention.
That was your line?
That was my line. They basically said you were too young to play a little high schooler, so you didn't get the role. But,
I see.
And then I also missed out on this little boy band thing when this guy Wahlberg walked in the room.
Oh, were you there?
Oh, yeah.
Did you have a chance?
No, seriously. I was. How do I put this? I was basically put on a shelf as a possible. And if somebody better came in, then I was out. And I'm not even kidding. Wahlberg came walking in, and that was it.
Are you kidding me?
I had the job for probably maybe 3 weeks. But we go back to, I was talking about my mother and how she was kind of like the gypsy, overbearing theater mom type thing.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to deal with that.
Right.
And she raised her head and they were kind of like, yeah, let's find somebody else. Somebody easier to work with.
Man. Mom, come on.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. That's how theater moms work. And that's also how things change.
Yeah.
Because I had so many failures in a row. I had this mom who was just very aggressively pushing it. And then I'm turning a teenager. So I suddenly start saying to myself, wait a minute, is this really what I want to be doing? I don't even know, because I kind of got pushed into it. You know what? I'm going to go off and do what my friends want to do. And then next thing you know, I spent probably the next 10 years playing hockey. So, and in New England, that's a terrible position to be in, because now you're a teenager. You didn't learn how to skate at 5, so you're probably not going to be playing
already. Oh God!
Right, exactly. But that all comes full circle. It really does, because what ended up happening is I had the type of personality that just didn't fit in office.
Mm-hmm.
So my wife was like, "Oh, you know what you should do? You should go into radio." Go do radio. You got a face for radio.
She said that? She told you to go into radio?
She told me to go into radio. And I kid you not, I entered a contest that a guy by the name of Mike Morin, and most New Englanders will know that name locally.
Okay.
But I entered a contest that Mike was running, and I didn't win, but it interested me enough to go to school, become a radio guy, and start working in the industry. And I worked for 22 years in Boston and New Hampshire, and And in that time, most people, if you remember back to when the Manchester Monarchs were a hockey team at the Verizon Wireless Arena, back when it was called that, I was the announcer for the hockey team. So, when you went to games, you heard me. So that's how the hockey comes full circle, because I knew hockey, and then the acting turned into radio. The radio comes to hockey. So everything is always, it comes full circle.
It does.
It really does. And so I broke away for a little while and did PR and marketing and things of that sort. And I was just like, you know what? I don't have an outlet for that creativity. So what can I do? I want to, start putting together, the theater thing again. Mm-hmm. And the theater thing was something that I was doing while I was doing the Monarchs. We had this little group we used to call New Hampshire Radio Theater. And it was probably, I want to say, 10 years that we did that. Okay. And it was very successful. People seemed to like it. And I was like, if we did that again, but for new media, I think that would be successful. So that and a long story about a play I wrote kind of culminated into, this is the thing that I'm moving into.
That's all right. So there are theaters that are doing radio plays.
Mm-hmm.
What would make this different? What add-ons are you hoping to incorporate that will really set you apart from what they're doing?
Now, if you take it at face value, so if you buy your ticket and you go see one show and you buy another ticket and you come see our show, you're not really going to see anything different.
Okay.
And that's the point. I don't want you to. I don't want to change your experience. I want you to come enjoy the show. But what we're going to do is in dress rehearsals and technical rehearsals and things of that sort, we're going to have a film crew actually filming the performance. So now we're going to have this performance taped. And of course, it's radio theater.
Yep.
So, most radio theaters, they just do the live performance as radio and then move on. We're actually going to tape it. So we'll also, have the audio from the live performances with the crowd interactions and so forth. And we'll mix that with the video that we're getting from the technical performances. And what you'll end up with is a final piece that you can put on YouTube or Facebook or TikTok, whatever medium that you want moving forward. So with that, yes, you get to go to the theater, but now you get to go to the website and check it out again. And then when you look at it in terms of a playlist, when we start adding the music in, because keep in mind with theater, licensing and music rights are a real issue.
Good point.
So I started looking back, and this goes into part of my thing is back in the 90s. I used to work at a different radio station in Keene.
Okay,
and at this radio station, we used to play around with automation. And yes, folks, for over 30 years now, some DJs are not actually there in the studio when you're listening to them on the air. So with that, we used to put little segments instead of DJ banter, like, oh, coming up next, it's Buddy Holly and so forth. Rather than do that, we did a little snippet of radio theater, and the radio theater snippet would segue into the song.
Got you.
And I did this as Christmas plays, and in different, things like the O.J. Simpson trial was one of them. And I didn't realize it at the time, but I accidentally kind of wrote little jukebox musicals. And in doing so, fast forward a few years, my wife takes me to Mamma Mia in Las Vegas. And she walked out of the theater.
Classic jukebox music.
And she asked me, hey, what did you think of it? And I literally looked at her and I'm like, I could do that. And she's like,
I believe it.
She goes, I'd like to see you try. And I went,
all right, Mom, man.
Yeah, so
she knows what buttons to push.
Oh, yeah. My wife is definitely that.
Woo! Is it your wife or your mom?
My wife. Yeah, not my mom. Oh, don't go there.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Your wife, huh?
Yeah, so she challenged me and said, go ahead and do it. And it just happened to be I was in a phase of listening to AC/DC on the way back to flying home. And I was like, wow, this music is actually, when you listen to it, very theatrical, and it tells a story. And if you think about it, they actually have a background. You talk about Australia and the history of what Australia was, and everybody being kind of rough and tumble and drinking heavy. And it's very thematic. And I'm like, I could string a few of these together and I could write an AC/DC play.
Yeah.
A jukebox musical. And I did. So I wrote something called A Whole Lot of Rosie.
Okay.
And A Whole Lot of Rosie is this, kind of throwback to the 90s. It's a little cross between The Sopranos meets Breaking Bad.
Oh, okay.
With AC/DC music infused.
Oh, my God.
And then, like I was talking before, I'm definitely a marketing and business guy. So I was like, you look at jukebox musicals.
Yeah. There's
only 2 of the top 50 U.S. bands that don't have a jukebox musical, and it's AC/DC in Boston.
Seriously?
There's only 3 hard rock plays ever to be on Broadway. All 3 are in their top 25 of longest running plays.
Can you name them?
It is American Idiot,
yep,
Rock of Ages, and School of Rock.
Got you.
So those 3 plays in the longest running and on Broadway. And I'm like, and the other thing is, you look at the success of ABBA. I mean, right now, that play, you're talking, it's a $5 billion beast. And I'm like, they're band number 21 on the top 25 list. AC/DC's number 12. So, and this is part of the way that I work too, is what a great way to introduce people who really aren't into theater and theater music and, the crazy dancing on stage and so forth. I like AC/DC music. Let's bring them to the show. Let's do this play. It's kind of almost the opposite of what ABBA is.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll introduce people to theater and get them to like it. I'm like, this will work. But I have a little bit more to tell you on that.
Right. It's crazy. Oh, my friends, you are listening happily, I hope, to NH Unscripted. Ooh, yeah, I told you we were thinking out of the box today. Yes, we are. 1450 AM, 103.9 FM on your transistor radios. NHTalkRadio.com is our URL. Yeah, these are the conversations, man, that get us out of bed. All right. Sean Sullivan's in the house. We got a half hour to go. And yeah, we are just getting started. We gotta let the back in. We'll be right back. Welcome back to NH Unscripted. I am your host, Ray Dudley. You're coming from the Hollywood Square-like digs of the WKXL studios in Concord. I love sitting in that center square, the old Paulin Square. The reference for all those old folks. 101.9 FM for the beautiful souls in Manchester. NHTalkRadio.com is our URL. Sean, I need to talk to you. You have auditions coming up tonight when this airs. Tonight.
Nope. Nope.
No, but this will air tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
On Wednesday. This will air on Wednesday. So you'll be having technically kind of auditions tonight. For what? What are people auditioning for? Let's get into what's happening there, and so we can push these auditions.
Yeah, sure. So just so we don't leave your audience, kind of in the lurch, to finish off the Rosie story.
Yes.
So I wrote the play, and I went to go search for the music rights for it. And I got to the point where I talked to Broadway producers, I talked to Sony Music and so forth, and everybody said no. And the weird part is they loved the idea. They thought it would work commercially. They read over the play, and they thought it was a good play. They just wouldn't do it.
Why?
I don't know. That's a great question.
Were you afraid they'd steal it?
No, not at all.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, here's the way I work.
It's already done. They already did it. But why would not say, oh, this guy's real, just take it? And they're doing Neil Diamond. I mean, Elton John. Were you not afraid they were going to take your idea?
No, not at all. And the funny part, too, is I also wrote it as it's a real play, like Mamma Mia, and not like Neil Diamond is a little bit different, but I mean, most like the Cher play.
Yeah.
I mean, most of these jukebox musicals are just a rehash of their career, and look, here it is over the timeline. And to me, that's That's not really entertainment. It's kind of like talking between the songs, like almost like MTV storytellers back in the day. So for me, it was really about tying the music together. That was the creativity of it. And they kept saying no. So I went back, I'm like, anybody who was ever successful never took no as an answer.
Correct.
And I said to myself, if the licensing is the issue.
And is that what they were saying it was?
That's exactly what they're saying it is.
All right.
Because keep in mind, the Whole Lotta Rosie, it's completely off of my head. It's not referencing anybody from the band. It's not, about AC/DC, the band per se, or anything from their music. It literally is a original play that can stand on its own without the music. So with that all said and done, I'm like, how do I move forward with this? And I'm like, like my old radio days when I used to do those jukebox musicals and the radio station paid the licensing. YouTube
so you
pays
did
it
the
now.
Radio shows in the radio.
Yeah.
Well, what a brilliant idea.
Yeah, it's a brilliant idea that 30 years later hit me in the back of the head. Yeah. So, that's kind of what brings us to... That's what gives us...
Oh, my God.
American Playlist Theater, believe it or not, is those plays that I did 30 years ago on the radio that I know work. So therefore, I'm going to start from a place that I know is 100% solid.
Yeah.
And I'm moving forward with this whole idea of the camera angles and putting it on YouTube and doing the licensing, the playlists and things like that.
Have you done it at a radio station again?
No, you can't.
How's the rights working then with the music?
YouTube pays the licensings. The only thing that I would not be able to do is to have my actors singing and performing the music.
Okay.
It would have to be the intercut and part of the playlist part of the theater is that the original artists and from their pages, I would be borrowing and putting on my playlist their music.
So let me ask you this. Every Monday, we have a segment we call Wayback Machine Monday, and we do 12, 13 songs from the 60s. I continue getting booted off on Arizona YouTube. Spotify constantly cancels my show, saying, you have the rights. I say, it's a radio station. I'm just putting it back up on YouTube or Spotify. They say, nope, we need a license, we need this. YouTube doesn't ask for a license. They'll say, we banned it from certain areas. Have you run into that at all?
Well, let me ask you this. So when you're uploading your segments, is the music included with it?
Yes.
That's your mistake.
Oh.
So if you eliminated the music and you literally did what would be, what we in the business call, voice tracking and using the Spotify as a audio playlist on air, if you just did the voice part of it, like coming up next, here's Def Leppard. Def Leppard qualifies as an oldie, by the way. So, and that's suddenly I'm feeling old. But the reality is, if you do that, here's Def Leppard. But you don't play Def Leppard, because that's where you get booted. You insert Def Leppard's video or song or what have you from Spotify, from YouTube. Remember, they're paying the licensing.
Yeah.
And they're also getting credit for it because you're playing their already, monetized.
I didn't know that angle existed.
There you go.
Oh, man, good thing I got out of bed. So your play, what are you looking for? You're holding auditions.
Yep.
Talk a little bit about the audition process for this. You are not just looking for actors.
No.
Your audition list of needs was pretty extensive.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking to do a completely live performance. Once again, we talk about things like licensing issues and music. So when you start talking about a radio theater and you want it to be lively and you want to have background and ambiance music and so forth, you can't really, go to, the Burl Ives collection or Bing Crosby or Frank Sinatra and think, or Elvis Presley and think you're going to get away with it. I mean, it's just not the way it is in this world. So I have a team. There's a gentleman by the name of Patrick Devereaux who has a local band in the area, and Patrick is my music director, and he's going to be performing all original music.
Okay.
He's also going to be doing all the, the little stings, because we're talking about radio theater. Yeah. So, oh no, that guy, dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
And he'll be on a guitar or something like that, dun, 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 Yeah. So he'll be performing all of that live. But that's music. Uh-huh. So now I've got a Foley table. So old time effects, how do you make fire? You tickle a broom with your fingers. So that's the thing is I got to have talented people to do that. Record the thing. I have to have a studio engineer as I'm looking in the next booth. I also need folks that run cameras. If I'm going to do this crazy YouTube ideas, I need radio folks who understand what mic technique is and how to speak on a microphone. And also how to do characters and things like that. Right. Good voice actors and character actors. So yeah, this is going to be a big troupe. I'm guessing probably 20, 25 people are going to be in somehow, some way, shape, or form involved in the production.
Are all the positions filled at this point?
No.
How many are? You got any?
4.
You?
I got me. I have my
Patrick.
I have my assistant director, Jim Frank. Patrick is definitely in there, and I actually have a camera gentleman who's out filming movies right now. His name is Sam Workman, and Sam's going to be taking over the camera stuff once he finishes his film. So, the way that it is, we're going to go to the audition. We're going to grab some actors.
Okay.
We still need a few technical people to get involved, and then we start audition. Not after the audition process, we start the play and we start getting into it in September.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So talk about auditions then. What should people prepare, if depending, I guess, on what they're there for, but give an overall idea of what they should expect.
Yeah, this is actually going to be a pretty laid back type of audition because once again, we talked about I was the theater kid.
Yeah.
And I've been in these audition situations. Next, I don't want to be that guy. It's cruel. It's brutal.
It
can be.
It is.
So what I want to do is I have basically a questionnaire, which is no different than a job application. So it's, hey, why do you want to be here? What can you tell us about, that sort of thing. So with that all said and done, then it's, did you prepare anything? Do you have a monologue for us that you'd like to, do? So if you prepared something, fantastic. Mm-hmm. If not, skips next thing. And we already have things to read.
Some sides.
So for us, that is the main thing. Can you read and can you emote quickly? So I want to see your range of emotions when you're seeing something for the very first time. Yes, we have a couple of months to make this production fantastic. However, what about the next one? Mm-hmm. And the next one? And the next one? I'm not looking at this as auditions for one show. I'm looking at this to build a troupe.
Oh, that's interesting. So you're not trying to just get as many people through as you can. You want an in-house group that's, baby. Sean, we're down a lost block here. Hang on. My goodness, my friends, you are listening to, I knew this was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen. You are listening to NH Unscripted. Oh, I hope you're as riveted as I am about this, especially you folks who I've been telling, get out, dip your toe in the water. 1450 AM, 103.9 FM on your Sony Walkmans. NHTalkRadio.com is our URL. Sean Sullivan is in the house talking about his new group, American Playlist Theater. We'll be right back. Welcome back to NH Unscripted. We are coming to you from the Taj Mahal like digs of the WKXL studios here in Concord. Never been here. My God, it is cavernous. Cavernous, I say. 1450 AM, 103.9 FM on your transistor radios, 101.9 FM for those beautiful souls in Manchester. All right, Stuck Theater. Sean, your time, place for audition, those deets?
Sure. 6:00
Got ya.
At the Garrison Playhouse, Garrison Players Art Center in Rollingsford, New Hampshire.
Okay. Are you willing to take walk-ins?
Absolutely.
Do they need to sign up? Should they sign up?
Yeah, they can sign up. They can go to the, first off, you can go to our website for American Playlist Theater.
Please give that.
So that is AmericanPlaylistTH.wixsite.com/website. Now, once again, because that was so simple.
Rolls off the tongue.
American Playlist TH.wixsite.com/website.
Okay,
so you can go there, and what I would say is go to the section where we talk about programs coming up and productions that are going on right now. And you'll see 2 productions there, one of which is War of the Worlds, Alien Perspective, and the other is the Garrison Playhouse Christmas show that's going to be happening December 4th through the 13th. Okay. And that underneath all the description of that show, you'll see both the connection to more information about the show at the Garrison, as well as the audition information and links there, and you can sign up.
How long? This seems like it'd be such a tremendous, vast undertaking. How long do you see each production happening? I mean, help me out. So rehearsals, will you film rehearsals at all? Just like background stuff?
Not the early ones, but
liner notes for later in years.
Actually, the funny part is, now that you're saying that, we'll have camera guys running around, and as people make their mistakes and as they take their direction, and little interviews, as the process is going along. As a matter of fact, we'd love to see you there. We'd love to see you there doing interviews and having people, tell you all about the audition process and what they think of it.
We will do that. I will be there. So from start to finish, how long do you expect a process to be? So normal community theater productions are 8 to 12 weeks in rehearsals. Professionals end up 2 weeks, maybe. Right. But they're 8 hours a day. So where do you see you guys in that process?
I see us, depending on if we can keep the troupe together.
Yes.
If we can keep a core group of people together. Yes, you're right. When you start out, it is going to be an 8 to 12 week process. 12 weeks really for us for this production. But what we're hoping, and this is also why we're auditioning people for their reading skills, if we can pick up on people who have really good reading skills, can through this production start to get an idea of what we're looking for, what the expectations are, that sort of thing. We can take that 12 weeks, turn it down to 8, turn it down to 6, and keep changing it and keep moving the pole forward. So we may not get to 2 weeks, but 3 to 4 weeks. Yeah, why not? I mean, we're just talking about reading into a microphone. It's radio theater.
Right. Where's this going to go? Where do you see this in like 5 years? Do you see it being licensed out like McDonald's to other groups? Do you see it? You're just going to keep it and make it bigger? What's your hopes for it?
Well, I think realistically, I would like to see it as a New Hampshire version of Blue Man Group.
Oh, good.
Something like a destination entertainment source that people are like, oh, when you go to New Hampshire, what is there to do? Oh, there's that radio theater thing at the, whether it be the Capitol Center, the Palace, or what have you. We have a home and we have a place to be, and we're doing our performances and people come to see it. And the other thing too, whether it's radio theater, and we've practiced them on that reading thing, so the show could be different every single night. It's not that same old thing. Or maybe 2 years later, we suddenly change the show like Cirque du Soleil. No, we could change it every single night.
Yeah.
But also there's plenty of other opportunities, because the website is such that if somebody picks up on the model, they could come to us and say, hey, we did what you did. Can we put it on your website? And now we can start to build the content there. Yeah. Absolutely. We'd love to see that. We'd love to be the clearinghouse for that. So that way people could come to us. And then when we talk about the audience, they're one-stop shopping, not a million different websites. I never heard of these guys. Like, for instance, radio theater, there's this thing called Ghost Light Theater out there. Yeah. They're wonderful. But the question is, do you know they're out there?
But not hardly anybody knows.
If we're like, radio
and
theater.
We're insiders. We hardly know they're there. Jeez.
But if you're that website that's like eBay or Amazon, but for radio theater performances, here's American Playlist Theater, anywhere from America could perform that. But also, in addition, and I don't know if you remember this, but do you remember Alien Voices?
No, sir, I do not.
Alien Voices was a thing back in the 90s, probably about mid-run on Star Trek The Next Generation.
Okay.
The actors from Star Trek basically said, I'm sick of this whole I got one line to say thing. I want to stretch out as an actor. So they all put together this thing called Alien Voices, and they did radio theater, and they did it on TV. And that's part of how I'm modeled is I've taken what they've done and I've broken it down to smaller segments. Wow. So that way it works for digital media.
That's incredible. So we have tips for people here. Let's say, do you want them to practice at home into their phones? What the lavaliers? You don't care. What type of thing would you think for them to polish themselves up so they look fairly decent when they get there?
You want to hear my advice?
Sure.
Read road signs.
What?
That's what I used to do when I first got into broadcasting.
Dude, what are you smoking? What are you kidding me? Read road signs.
Yeah, you drive down the road and you're just like, bienvenue. Welcome to New Hampshire. And that's how I worked on as somebody coming up in the business to get rid of my Boston accent, because
my goodness,
I was from Boston and I had a really thick accent.
Wow.
And I just drove down the road, read every sign possible, and made sure to over-enunciate it. And then next thing you know, I lost the Boston accent.
That's fascinating. For production coming up, how many males, how many females do you need? And what else do you need?
Let's see. So I'm looking for somewhere between 10 and 12 actors.
Okay.
I'm looking for 1/3 of them to be female, 2/3 of them to be male, because that's just how the characters work out. But I'm also looking for people who are willing to be part of the crew and, work, boards and, be able to put together microphone cables and folks willing to do Foley. And the other thing too is I am hoping to goodness that I get people who are really into Foley and making sound effects, because I want them to be really the stars of the show. I want them to do crazy, outrageous things. I want them to be noticed. I don't want them to be back, like we talked about a little bit earlier. One of the ways you make a sound effect for fire is you just tickle the edge of a broom. Well, if you're sitting in an audience, there is no interest there for that.
Right, I agree.
But I'll tell you what, when we were New Hampshire Radio Theater many years ago, we did this thing of Jekyll and Hyde. And there's a portion of Jekyll and Hyde where there's an actual beating of a body. And there was a gentleman who grabbed a baseball bat, and I was wearing goalie pads. We stood center stage.
You did not.
He absolutely did. With a microphone on it.
Oh my God.
That's
okay.
But that's interesting to see.
Yeah, you think? So I don't know, what are you going to stop, drop, and roll? Just light you on fire and roll around the ground, they put you out? Oh my God.
Oh, okay. I got enough to worry about other than stuntmen. Let's keep the fire department out of this. Yes. For anyone in the DOT, please.
See, I just always thought Foley guys, I have such respect for Foley guys. And it's such a, there aren't that many people who do it, and again, there aren't any people who, even those who do it, it's like anything. You've got levels, right? You got guys who have a soup can, a bang, or a couple of sticks or something, and that's supposed to be some kind of a sound. But are there people in New Hampshire who you know of that are tremendous Foley people?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, other than the former members of New Hampshire Radio Theater and maybe folks that are, in local theater productions. But hey, they're few and far between.
That was a quick hour. Sean, please give us your URL again.
AmericanPlaylistTH.wixsite.com/website.
I am enamored with this, and I mean that. I am so eager to see how this comes about. My friends, you have been listening to NH Unscripted. We've been coming to you from the hee-haw-like conditions of WKXL Studios here in Concord. 1450 AM, 103.9 FM on those transistor radios. Yeah, you got to put the earplug in. That's how you hear. 101.9 FM for those beautiful souls in Manchester. All right, we will catch you on the next one. Come on, go audition. All right. See you in the next one.